Yeah.
Can I get your first and last name?
My name is Troy McArthur.
Can you spell that for me?
TROYMCARTHUR.
And can I get today's date?
February 15th, 2016.
Alright, and can I hear your testimony? My name is Troy.
Yeah, my name is Troy. I'm 40 years old. I grew up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Moved here with my mom when I was 13. Went to church regularly all the time when the church doors were open. Started on pills when I was working at a job, broke my foot, and that was my start of addiction to pills, pain pills. Was on them for a long time until they were just like, just be careful how you take them, because you'd be addicted to them. Well, after a year and a half of that, I was already addicted. So I was in denial a lot. I went to, we were trying to find a place to go to get help. And I was, like I said, church background. I always thought, hey, I could just pray to the Lord and, He'll be able to take it away from me. And, and it just, that wasn't enough. So finally, in 2009, I ended up went to my first stint in Teen Challenge. Lasted 2 weeks. I wasn't ready, in plain words. Just wasn't really ready to give it all up. So I lasted 2 weeks, went back. Couldn't go home. My mom was like, well, you couldn't come here. So I ended up being on the streets, staying at the Salvation Army. Then finally got my own place, and still struggled. Still try to go to the church, going from being in the youth, having a good job and stuff, and then just trying to make it was hard. Knowing I needed to change, but I couldn't change. It was so hard to change, but I wanted to.
How long did you spend in the ministry? Can you say, I was affiliated with the ministry from the time I was this age?
Yeah, I was in ministry right at a young age. I was started around I was 19 until 22, and that's when I broke my foot. It went spiraled down.
Now you said you moved here with your mom. Can you just say that again? But like when I was to say, you grew up in Pennsylvania, then you moved to where?
Oklahoma.
You said it here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Can you say like maybe a city? And can you restate that? Just say.
Yeah. I moved from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
What year?
And that was back in 1987.
Okay. Can you just say that one more time?
Moved from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1987.
Okay. And now can you say more about after your first stint? Because did you lose a relationship with your kids? When you when you got on the streets, can I ask how that affected your relationship with your kids?
It hurt. They were young.
What hurt? Like my addiction, I'm sorry.
Yeah. What got them is, it's like, why can't he get off the pills? Why is it so much control? Because my life was wrapped around it. I couldn't function unless I had it. I couldn't play with them at the park unless I had some in my system. I couldn't go to a birthday party without, and they knew it. If I wasn't on them, I was pretty much not fun to be around. Cranky, had to have it. I was always looking. And that deteriorated my life with my kids because they didn't want to be around me.
Then you wound up on the streets. So you went to the Salvation Army to the streets. How long did you spend on the streets, if you don't mind?
That time it was 8 months.
Yeah. Can you like more so pronounce about? Yeah, I spent 8 months or so on the street.
Yeah, I spent 8 months on the streets in Tulsa area, downtown, for 8 months until I finally was able to get my own place.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about your? And can you go more into like your second stint at Teen Challenge? I went back to Teen Challenge.
Yeah, it's funny because I went in May, 2009, and 5 years later, I go back. It took 5 years. I go back to Teen Challenge in May. Same month. Different day, few days in between. I went May 5th, 2009, ended up going back May 9th, 2013.
What made you go back the second time?
I had enough. I actually got to the point where I was going to die. I was taking a fentanyl patch, and I smoked that, and I actually thought literally I was going to die. My friend was about to call an ambulance, and I was like, no, just let me relax and lay down. Let me just sleep it off. That next morning, I called my mom and said, I'm done, I'm ready. But this time, she was like, you need to do it. You need to call them. You need to fill out the application. You need to do all the work that needs to be done. So we know that you're serious. They're not going to do anything. They'll help me get there, but I had to do everything to get there.
Okay. And if you can, when did your life change in Teen Challenge? And if you can start with my life change in Teen Challenge, when?
My life changed, believe it or not, 6 months in the program. I really didn't want to be there. I played along a lot just to please family, please church members, church leaders. Just be like, hey, I can do this. But in my back of my mind was like, I'll go back and be the same. Different Troy, but basically the same. Still trying to do a little bit here and there, but not fully 100%. But my 6 month in, we had a spiritual emphasis week in Teen Challenge, and man, the Lord came to me and said, you need to surrender it all of it. And that was an eye opener because I was like, oh man, because submitting is so hard. And then that next day we went to church, and then they sung that song by Hillsong, I Surrender. Done. It was a wrap. That was a sign right there. And ever since I gave my whole heart 100% to the Lord, nothing but changes. So after that, I was offered, they were asking me have I ever thought about interning. No. Because I already had my job lined up. I had me almost a 17-hour job lined up. I was getting back into ministry in my church, and I had my family back. So I was pretty much good. And then, they said how I think about this, and I kind of was like, no. I had my own plan. Once again, I had my own plans, not the Lord. So it was a struggle. I struggled. I had my friend, my best friend, Robert Todd. We always talked all the time, and I was like, man, I'm not going to do it. And he just looked at me and smiled. And then one day when I said, he said, so you're going back and forth. He said, you're tugging. And I'm like, yeah, I'm tugging back and forth because I don't want to do it, but if this is what the Lord wants me to do, I wanted to get back to my kids and show everybody I changed and show how I'm a different person. But the Lord had other plans. So eventually I ended up praying, and I had to my mom and dad pray. My leadership in my church pray. And finally, Lord just said, this is what you need to do. And I've done it. And I felt the peace over me when I agreed to do it. And after that, once again, stuff started lining up. I was worrying about money and the kids, and the Lord took care of it all. And a position came up to be intake coordinator in Sapulpa. I prayed about it because once again, I didn't want to just jump to it without the Lord's approval. Then I'll be just spiraling into something I don't want. And I had an interview with Chester Biggs, and we talked, and I let him know probably a couple of days later after that I would accept that role. And been here ever since.
Good. And can you say again, like, and now today I am,
Yeah.
I'm in a position of being the intake coordinator.
And now I am, in a position to be the intake coordinator, which I am mentoring the students. When they come in, I'll be the one hey, I used to be in his position. I mean, I give the parents a hope. Like, look, that used to be me. And look where I'm at now. I mean, that's the same kind of hope that he has. If he does the program, you got to do the program though.
So would you say that God's completely saved your life? He's turned everything around for the better?
100% changed my life, all the way around, in all categories, man. I mean, it's just amazing when you give it all to God, what Lord can do. And thank God for Teen Challenge.